Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you how to make a tiny journal using just trash. So for this project you're gonna need a packaging box, a small packaging box. I have this product box from a sample skincare, or if you don't have that, you may have a soap bar box like this one. But if you don't have that, you may have something like this. This is something I got in the mail. It's a flyer and it's cardboard, so we can use this. And we're gonna need a bunch of junk mail envelopes. So let's get started. So first we're gonna start by making the cover. I want to use this box. I've been saving this box for a very long time. But as I said, you can use something like this if you don't have a box. If you have a flat flyer like this one, all you need to do is to fold it in half. You can have a cover for your journal just with a flyer like this. This is very hard, so maybe I'll recommend something less harder than this one. But I want to use this box. I'm gonna save my soap box for another little journal. This is gonna be a tiny journal, and I want to use just envelopes as the paper for my signatures. And I thought I would use this one here. This is a junk mail, but it actually came with a stamp, the postage stamp, and then the seal stamp. And so I thought this would look nice as the cover. So we covered this with that. And so I'm gonna use that one for that. But let's start by making the cover with the box. So I'm gonna use my paper trimmer, and I'm gonna cut all these little flaps, and I'm just gonna leave the main rectangles here, like these three parts. So I'm gonna start by cutting here. Don't worry, you can use all these little pieces later, so nothing's gonna go to waste, that's for sure. I guess I'm gonna cut this side first, then here, and then the last one is this. Okay. So this is my first journal that I make on camera, and I guess it's actually gonna be my, what is it, 7th journal? Who's keeping track? I'm not keeping track very well. So now we have a big spine for this one. It's gonna be so tiny, and I kind of want it to be a chunky, tiny journal like this. I basically want to make it for like more like a sample paper, and I'll tell you why I'm thinking that. So you know how all these security envelopes, they have patterns inside. So I picked a few from my collection that they have different patterns, more or less. Some of them are similar, and some of them don't have any patterns, so we'll have white paper there too. And I want to have like a sample book, so of all different type of papers. You can also use this as an actual journal. So now that we have this, I'm just gonna make sure that it's kind of even. It is kind of even. So it's measuring 7.5 centimeters tall, and almost 12.5 wide, the whole thing. And I guess the spine is like 1 inch. Yeah, the spine is 1 inch. So this is a big spine, and I'm probably gonna do just 2 signatures. I want to use this to cover on my front cover, this part. So I'm just gonna start by, I guess, trimming my envelope. So I'm not gonna measure anything right now because we'll see how this is gonna go. I guess I have to open my whole envelope like that. So this project, it's great for beginners that don't have any supplies. I mean, honestly, you don't need to buy anything right now. You're gonna need glue, and you're gonna need some sort of thread. I'll show you what what I'm gonna use, but you can use any sort of thread to sew in your signatures. Oh, look at that. This is very tiny. Or do I do it like this? And so you really don't need any extra materials. So I'm trying to decide how I want that stamp to go, because I kind of wanted it to be at the top. So I guess I'm just gonna do it like this. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is I want to leave like a little bit. I need to trim this here. Okay. And I'm gonna fold the paper on the inside once I glue it. And so I'm gonna leave a little bit around here where I'm marking with my nail. So I'm gonna trim that, and we'll figure it out as we go. So where's my mark? Okay, yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna start by gluing this, and then we'll do the back. We can do the back just white. Actually, I'm gonna do the back first because that's gonna go over. So I'm just gonna use this leftover. I'm gonna try to, so when you have an envelope, parts are gonna be folded. So you don't want to use the ones that are folded, that are basically double, because then it's gonna be too thick, and we don't want that. So I'm just gonna cut, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna do this in just 2 inches because that's what I grabbed. And I'm gonna leave that inside. I'm gonna use that. So I'm gonna cut 2 there. Okay. And what's gonna be, yeah. So I'm gonna start by gluing my box. You want to use a glue that's gonna hold your paper in the box, especially if the box has a shiny, glossy finish like my box does. So I'm just gonna put this over here. It's touching the folding of my signature. So it didn't go over, it's just touching it right there. And because I have this part here, I'm gonna actually cover this a little bit more. But before I do that, I'm gonna cut the corners. So I'm just gonna fold it, following that, and I'm gonna cut those corners like in a curve. Like that. Just gonna go ahead and glue this, and I'm also gonna cut in an angle here so that it's easier to fold your paper. I think this type of journal, when you're using just envelope paper, can be a nice gift to someone who likes pattern paper, because it can actually be super cute. I mean, at least how I'm imagining it, it's gonna be cute. Because I haven't made one like this before. Okay, so that's the back. And now we're gonna do the front. And so we basically are gonna do the same, except that this time we're gonna go over the back and we're gonna cover the spine as well. So I'm gonna glue on my box, okay, and I'm gonna go over a little bit here. And I want to make sure that I have enough paper in all sides and that this is even. It's not very even. Okay. And so here I want to make sure I have enough glue, because I did remove it. And I'm gonna fold it like that. I want to make this flatter It glued weirdly because I folded it when it was not dry, but that's okay. So I kind of like that that's going that way. And now we're gonna do the same here and cut the corners. You see that this one's gonna be shorter than the previous one. That's fine. I'm using my plastic knife as a bone folder. You can use a bone folder if you have one. Obviously, you wouldn't use a toddler knife. Okay, there we go. And I'm gonna cut this a little bit. And same here, and an angle. Okay, and so we apply more glue. And then we just glue all the sides. That one's gonna be tricky because it ended up being too short, but we can always fix it. If you have a problem like this, you can always fix it with washi tape, and that maybe I'll do that. I'm not sure. So there we have our cover. It's not perfect, this part here, but I'm gonna try to fix it. And I'm thinking we should work on the back now, but I kind of want to fix this part. So I'm gonna trim that actually because it doesn't fold well. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is to use the rest of the envelope to cover the inside. So we're gonna cover it in white as well, because I just want the patterns to be in my signatures. So I'm gonna cut the exact size here, and I'm gonna glue it. I'm gonna speed this process up so you don't see the whole thing. Okay, there we have it. I covered the two panels in the inside, and now I'm gonna use some washi tape for this part. So I want a white washi tape, and this one. Oh, this is too pretty, but we're not gonna see it. Look at this one. Okay, I'm gonna use this one. So I'm putting some glue. I always put, not all, well, most of the time I put some washi tape on my spine just to make sure that it's gonna be very well secure. And some extra glue. So I'm just gonna crease that so that we cut it right where I crease it. Okay, and then we have our cover. I'm gonna ink the cover. I think it's too white. I can see the product name on the back, so maybe we'll do something with that, but I'm gonna start inking. I'm gonna use my brown ink, and let's see if we can make it less white. So if your product box has too many design, like it has a bright design, you may want to use a thicker paper. But because we're just using free materials. This is all free. This is all junk mail envelopes and bills, basically. This is something that you can do technically for free. You don't even have to ink. I'm just inking because I like how it looks inked, but you don't have to. So we're gonna do that for now. Now, my washi tape didn't, I didn't add glue on this part and it already detached, so we need more glue. This is why we need more glue with washi tape always. It doesn't last forever, especially we're gonna be moving it. So now that we have our cover, I'm gonna let it dry. I'm gonna work on the signatures. So it's gonna be 4.5, I think, centimeters by 7, 4.5 the widest, the width, and 7 centimeters the height of my pages. It can vary. It doesn't have to be that way. So I'm gonna just go ahead and start working on the envelopes. For the most part, I'm gonna tear the paper, I think, with my ruler. I'll show you the first one, and the rest I'm gonna do it off camera because it's just gonna be a lot of me trimming paper that you don't have to see. So, oops, just trying to find the best way. I'm gonna try to preserve the windows. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna cut my envelopes just to preserve the windows. I may use the windows later, and I may use the same paper for the envelopes, but we'll see. Maybe you don't want that on your journal. Let's see how that's gonna go. And I'm already seeing that not all of them are gonna be the same size because it depends on the size of the window. So this is very rough. So I'm gonna do that and I'll be back. Okay, so I have all of my envelopes trimmed and I thought I'll show you what I'm doing next. So this is the part without the window. And so what I'm gonna do is to use my craft knife and open not the bottom but the side of the envelope like this. And we're gonna take advantage to make this even easier. I'm gonna take advantage of the fold there so we don't have to fold the paper again. And now I'm using my mat as a guide. So I'm gonna trim using my ruler. So I'm doing 4.5 centimeters width. So just align for whatever measurement you want. I align my metal ruler to my mat, to the measurements I want, and then I just tear. So we have that. This project's gonna give me a lot of scraps. I'm gonna have to make some master boards with that. And then I'm gonna go ahead for the height and do 7 centimeters like this. And now what you do is you open this and you turn it around so that you have the pattern side to the outside. And there we have it. I'm gonna continue doing this off camera because it's a lot that I have to cut, and then I'll show you when I have my signatures ready to go. Okay, so I'm almost done with my signatures and I wanted to show you how to make a pocket. My middle page, it's gonna have a pocket. So I'm gonna show you how I did it. So this is a larger envelope. So you're gonna need something that it's gonna be larger than what we already had for the other pages. And I'm doing the same. I'm opening the envelope on the side, leaving the bottom fold as is because we're gonna use that. And now I'm gonna go ahead and cut again the 4.5 for the width. So 4.5 centimeters for my width. I have a pile of scrap paper there now. And now, so this one has that double piece of paper, so I'm gonna try to remove it very carefully if I can without ripping it. And so this measures almost 10.5. I'm gonna keep it like that. Here it's not even, but it doesn't matter. So what I do, I just put it, can you see that? So this is my 7 centimeter mark, which is the height of my pages. So I'm gonna fold that like that. So this is gonna be a little bit taller than the envelope I made for the other signature, which is totally fine. They don't have to be the same. And now I'm gonna cut a little notch here with my circle punch there. And I'm gonna trim that a little bit. Where are my scissors? Under the pile of scraps. Okay, and I'm gonna ink a little bit where the notch is, so you can tell that it's a pocket there. It doesn't have to be heavy inking. I mean, if you want to do it. And so now we're gonna just glue the sides. So we're gonna glue one side and two sides. And that's it. There we have a page with two pockets. I gotta say, it took me a long time to cut all of the paper. I thought it was gonna be faster, but it wasn't. And now I'm struggling with my glue. So, oops. So this is my middle signature. I ended up having 9 pieces of paper per signature, which in total for the whole journal is gonna be 36 pages, I think. I could have done more, but I honestly got tired of cutting paper so tiny. So now I'm gonna attempt to sew this. Let's see how it goes. So my first signature, I started with the white paper. I think just to, although you can see, I don't care if you can see the other paper there. I think it looks cool. You may want to trim it. If you want to do that, you can just use your metal ruler and put it there and use your craft knife and then go and you will trim all of your pages. I do that sometimes. Other times I like it to be like that, messy. After all, it's a junk journal. And because this is like a junk journal, an actual junk journal, I'm gonna leave it like that. So I'm gonna grab the materials for the sewing and I'll be right back. Okay, so I grabbed my needle. This is a wool needle, so it has a big eye. And some paper clips. This is the thread I'm gonna use. Just want to give it some color. It's like a mustard color. It's a wax thread that I use for jewelry making. I just have this. You can use other sort of threads. I don't know if just regular thread would work. Embroidery floss, other waxed threads, anything that you can try. You don't even have to sew it. You can do elastics for this. And you need a pokey thing. I use this owl that I bought. It's a vintage one. I bought it secondhand. Like, I mean, it was new, but it's actually from the 60s. So usually when I have more than one signature, I make a template. But I'm kind of tempted to just do this freehand just because, I mean, why not? Should we do a template? I don't know. Let's just attempt to do it without a template. Let's see. So what I'm gonna do is well, this is my first signature. I'm gonna clip my pages together so that they don't move. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna do a what is it called? 3-hole pamphlet stitch. It's the only thing I know. I don't know any other technique, but you can certainly do whatever you want to do if you know other ways to bind a journal. As I said, you don't even have to sew them. So I do this to keep my pages together. And we're gonna just do it messy. What do you think? Okay, so I'm gonna start by getting my thread going. So I usually do 3, 1, 2, three heights, and a little bit, some extra. It doesn't hurt to have some extra. I've never done this on camera, so bear with me. Okay, there we go. So we have this ready for our first signature. And so remember what's your bottom and what's your top. So I'm just gonna go and try to poke holes all through my signature and my spine. This is gonna be the hard part. I'm gonna actually clip this. As I said, I normally do this with a template, but I don't want to make a template today. So I'm gonna make a hole like in the middle. And so we should go through all of our pages and the spine, you see there. Okay, you see that I'm not doing it like this. I'm doing it like in an angle, so that that's gonna be at the angle. I'm gonna sew it in. And then you want to go like, you have this top and bottom part. I usually do like halfway through, kind of. So then we pocket the other. There we go. They are kind of aligned, so be careful because this is very sharp. Okay, so now I'm gonna start the sewing. I don't know if you can see very well, but I have my pages all clipped in. And so I'm gonna start in the middle from the inside, and I'm gonna go and try to find, oh no, it moved. So I ended up poking another hole. Not a good idea. So I have an extra hole in there now. So I'm just gonna do the middle there, and I'm gonna leave a little bit of thread hanging in there. Okay, and so now I'm gonna go through the top hole. That went well. Good. And now I'm gonna go through the bottom hole. And then now again through the middle. The actual middle, not that extra one I poke in there. So the middle hole, it's weird for some reason. So you can always try to see, like, you can separate your pages from the cover to see if you're doing it properly. Okay, there we go. And now we're gonna go through all the way. Oops. And so we want one thread on each side of the middle thread. And I'm gonna remove the needle, and I'm just gonna make sure that it is tight, but not that tight. We don't want to rip. But see how this is loose here? So I think we can make it tighter a little bit. I could have gone higher, honestly, with my top holes, but that's okay. So I want that to be tight. Usually I think I will go not half, I go like 1/3, but that's okay. This is what happens when I do it without a template and on camera, but I just wanted to show you how easy it can be. Sometimes whenever I've watched tutorials of this and they use a template, I get very confused, although I prefer to do it with a template, but somehow watching other people's templates confuse me. So I thought I'd just show you without a template, but you can definitely use a template. I made 2 knots. Maybe I'll make a third one because I think I was thinking about making the third one. And I'm gonna cut the excess. If I want to hang beads from here, I leave it longer, but I don't need it, so I'm just gonna cut it like this. And there we have our first signature ready. It's not very straight, you can see, but that's okay. I've done better jobs. Honestly, with a template, it's much better. But usually if I'm not doing on camera, I have a lot more time to do this. So it takes me a long time. So I'm gonna go and do the other one. Okay, I attached the 2 signatures. The second one, I don't know, I didn't. It's not perfect. So I don't know if you can see, but the second one, it's actually lower than the first one. Although the sewing looks pretty even, to be honest. I put the papers a little bit lower. And that's because I didn't use a template. So use a template. I probably should have shown you how to use a template. So here we have it. It needs a little bit of loosen up. So we made a tiny journal. So let's see the pages. So this is our cover. It's not finished, obviously. I think I want to work on like a name for the journal or something. Maybe put some book corners. Oops. And add some decorations inside. But let's see how this turned out. So we have different pages, different patterns. You can even do this as a like as a tear book, like if you want to have, you know, to give someone different patterns of papers. I think this is great. I don't know if I would use this journal actually or collage, or just keep it as a sample paper. So that's the first pocket. So tiny ephemera can go there. And here you can see that they're not even, but the 2 signatures are not even, but that's okay. So I really like this paper. So we go the other way today. Oh no, I put that on the wrong side. Oh, but that's okay. So then the other side is gonna be the white part. So maybe you want to, you know, do something on that, but you still have the pretty paper. So this is also a reminder that you have pretty pattern paper for free in your mail every day. So don't throw away those envelopes. Maybe don't hold them like I've been holding them, but don't throw them away. So there we go. Different colors, different patterns, another pocket. The one thing I should say is that in a spine like this, you can actually fit 3 signatures. I just didn't want to do that. So there is a big space between the signatures, which can make it a little bit awkward, but I mean, you can do whatever you want. But this is what I had in mind. I wanted it to be like this, like a very big open. The space here is what it makes it awkward, but as the pages feel better inside the book, they're gonna lay flat. There you have it, a tiny journal made completely out of trash. And so next time I'll show you how I finished this little book. I want to decorate it a little bit, maybe make a closure or something. Next week I'll show you that, and I hope you make a tiny little journal. Let me know if you make one, and hopefully it turned out great. Use all of your envelope and like all of your junk mail. Use all of it. And that's it for today. I'll see you next time. Bye.